Stop, thief. I can't help but wonder why people say that. Has any thief in the history of the world ever actually stopped? I suppose the call was more to alert other people to the thievery, but wouldn't stop that thief make more sense? Even better, describe the thief. You know, something like that black-haired, green-eyed girl in the cloak stole a loaf of bread. Get her. Of course, as the girl in question, I'm disinclined to give my pursuers any tips. At least the yell gives me a nice heads up that it's time to stop walking nonchalantly and start bolting for the nearest alleyway. I've targeted this shop a dozen times now, so the baker, Grig, was doubtlessly none too happy with me. But come on. He just leaves the fresh stuff out in the open. What am I gonna do, not take it? I'd buy it if I could. I really would. Being a street rat thief isn't some fun, exciting freedom adventure. It sucks. A lot. The grand and beautiful city of Skyhope isn't so grand or beautiful for the many homeless residents who lack the money to survive or the training to become a productive member of society. I and everyone like me are just flat out screwed, and there isn't much of anything I can do about it without a bucketful of luck and someone else's pity. Grig was not supplying that pity. As I do my best to weave through the crowd, he barrels right through, shoving people aside as he rants furiously behind me. Which is bad, because I'm weak, underfed, and not particularly talented at much of anything. He is definitely going to catch me. Thankfully, I had allies. Yo, Vita. Right here. A friendly voice has me making a 90-degree turn, and soon I end up face to face with Lynn, a drastically superior thief than I could ever dream of being. Pass it. She orders. I toss her 2 of the loaves, which she proceeds to wave in Grig's direction, cheering and taunting. Just try to catch us, fatso. Taking a huge bite, she runs off in the opposite direction, giving me a chance to slip out of sight. Panting and wheezing, I head through the paths and back ways, munching on the 1 loaf I kept. It isn't particularly good bread, but it is warm and fresh, and I am very, very hungry. I tear through it, but know better than to eat it all. While I could probably get away with it, emaciated as I am. Well, everyone's emaciated in our little group except for Lynn and Rowan. It wouldn't be fair. Lynn is incredibly talented, a natural-born thief if there ever was one. She picks up new skills faster than I can pick fucking rocks off the ground, and is actually one of the more wanted faces in Skyhope. She's a regular noble thief, though, and almost single-handedly the reason my band of wretched gremlins can keep eating. And where she's all skills, Rowan is all brains. And we have a winner. Excellent eyes, young man. I make my way through the winding alleyways and pop out where I know Rowan has set up shop. He's a con man and expert gambler. Where Lynn steals the stuff we need to survive, Rowan makes all the cash. Despite his questionably legal business model, however, he's careful not to get a bad reputation. He's just running cups, because as smart as he isn't always that creative. Ball goes under a cup, cups spin around, he palms the ball into a new cup if he wants them to lose and doesn't if he doesn't. It's a classic game, though he spices it up with juggles and fancy twists for the show. I sidle in behind his stall, giving him his half of the bread. Breakfast for you, Rowan. Vita. Hey. Thanks, I appreciate it. You get this yourself? I nod. I've been helping Lynn out for a week now, trying to earn my place. She gives charity, but the charity isn't much just by simple necessity. If I do more to help, I'll get a bit more food. That half loaf was already more than I'd normally see in a day. Naturally, I'm nearly a skeleton, barely more than skin and bones. I can't do much without Lynn's help. And she could probably do even more without me than with me. It doesn't matter. I need to try anyway. More than just needing food, I owe them. 16 years of suffering is more than enough, and Lynn's crew is a far nicer place than any other I've been on. As if to prove that, Rowan hands me some coins. Here you go, Vita. Lynn keeps saying you're getting better and better. Pass these out to the kids, will you? It's hard not to consider buying myself a knife or something, but no. These coins are important, and Rowan handing them out is a sign of his trust. I saved my pittance for years and ended up buying a nice cloak. It's something warm to wear and sleep in, and something to hide my face in when I cry. Can't take the opportunity to buy that kind of stuff away from the others. Of course, a few of those kids will get something far more valuable than a cloak regardless of whether I give them money or not. Not many of them, But some people are just talented. It is said that the Mistwatcher grants each person a gift when they are made, and while the church likes to present that as some wonderful thing, it's no secret that whatever gives the gifts gives them absurdly unequally. Some people have talent beyond comprehension, like Lynn. Some people could shoot fire from their hands without even studying to be a mage. Some people get nothing. Or at least, if they get something, it's so small and insignificant that only the Mistwatcher knows what it is. I'm like that, as far as I know, but any of the other kids could end up shooting fire. I'm gonna want to make sure I'm not someone that stole money from them when they do. So I make my way back through the alleys towards where the kids sleep, alone with my thoughts. There you are, you little thief. Greg the baker's voice sends fear burning over me like a trough of grease. I freeze. How had he? Turning around, I see him. Fat, hairy like a bear, and panting with fury, he glares at me from the other end of the alley. I'm so dead. I turn and bolt. He's faster than me, though. Everyone is. As fat as he was, I'm emaciated. I'm still recovering from my first run, and this time I don't have backup on the way. Crap, what do I do? The alleyways in Skyhope are everywhere, and the walls are high. Even the smaller buildings tend to be 2 stories tall, all brick and clay and wood. I glance at a window frame. Damn it, Lynn would just vault right up there and be out of here. But I might be able to lose him if I get up and over a wall somewhere. He could run faster than me, but I bet he can't climb. Could I, though? Better find out fast. I know the streets well, if nothing else. Left, right, down one fork. All the while, that fat bastard is gaining on me, ranting about how he'll hand my head to the guards. What the fuck this guy's problem, anyway? I just need to eat. There. A crate next to a window next to a smaller than normal wall. If I climb up there I can hop over and he won't be able to follow. Hell, the crate will probably break under his fat butt. Lungs on fire, legs nothing but shots of pain, I scramble up the escape route. I'm in the windowsill. Just pull, and a meaty hand wraps around my ankle. With a single yank, I'm on the ground, head smashing against the wall on the way down. All week you've been raiding my shop. You think I'm just gonna let you? Huh? I'm already reeling, but the kick to my chest sends even more pain through my aching body. Skidding across the stone ground, I choke for air in vain. No, no, no. I was so close. They won't put any guards in front of my shop. I told them that thief they're looking for is after me, but they act like I'm full of it. But you know her, don't you? Chased her halfway across the city. More than the damn watch manages. Another kick. It hurts. What else is new? Fuck, he's pissed. Lynn warned me about stealing from someone too many times. I should have listened. You stupid kid. How much product will my worthless son have burnt by the time I get back, huh? You're costing me the better part of the day just to. Maybe you should just stop leaving it out in the open, I choke out. You're the one making it so easy. A vein just about pops in the fat man's forehead. Ah, shoot. I definitely should not have said that out loud. His boot comes for my face next, sending me sprawling another time. Come on, get up. Get up. Is this how I die? It makes sense, if so. A pathetic death for a pathetic human. My whole life, I've been worthless. I don't remember even trying to be anything else. Only just now am I learning to live off of more than handouts, and I'm 16 already. Too old to start. So really, beaten bloody in an alleyway seems like the way to go. It happens to nameless people all the time. I might as well be one of them. With a crunch, I feel my ribs break as the man's latest rage-fueled kick lifts me off the ground and knocks me straight into a wall. Moron probably didn't get that strong baking bread. Just more of that talent some people have. Stupid, lucky, degenerate, fat bastard. Why does this jerk get something while people like me are left to rot? Why him and not me? A scream escapes my lips. I hadn't cried out through the whole beating, but now? Now I'm angry. I just want to hurt him back. I'm tired of waiting around for a miracle to rescue me. I want to see him suffer before I die. Maybe it won't do anything, maybe he won't even feel it, but I lash out at him anyway. What else can I do? Blindly, angrily, I reach for him with everything I have. I wish he was dead. Dead. I grab something. He kicks me again, sending me flying, but I hold on. It tears out of him, soundlessly, and he falls over. Broken, beaten, and bloody on the street, I am alone. Only one of my bruised eyes can even open anymore, but Greg doesn't appear to be breathing. The fight is over, and held tight in my fist is something I can't see. It shimmers outside the edge of my vision, wavering and frail, like it could fall apart at any moment. Some part of me bubbles in satisfaction. For some reason, I know it's Greg's soul. I sit in stunned silence for a short moment before panic fills my body, washing away the pain and fury from before. What is this? How did I do this? What's happening? Did I just grab a man's soul and pull it out? That's what I did, isn't it? It has to be, I know it is. But how do I know it? Should I trust it? How do I? Wait. Oh no, I should put it back. It's his. It's his soul. I try to shove it back in the corpse, but it just passes through. Oh no, oh no, oh no, oh no. Souls are not for mortals to touch. The magic to control and manipulate souls, known as animancy, is very illegal. Study on it is forbidden across the entire island. But of course, some people don't have to study magic. They're born with it. Am I a natural animancer? Is that less illegal or more? Doesn't matter. I can't do this kind of thing. I can't be this. It's one thing to steal bread, it's another thing entirely to be a living blasphemy. The guards aren't going to ignore this. So if I could just put it back. It won't go. It's missing something. I don't know how I know it's missing something, but I do. It won't stay in the corpse without. I reach into my own body, and pluck out a tiny, infinitesimal fraction of my own soul. I place it carefully inside Greg's, then put them both inside his body, holding my breath all the while. Nothing. The soul bits stay inside the corpse, but nothing happens. He doesn't start to breathe, his heart doesn't start to beat. Well, hopefully I can get out of here before anyone catches me. I rifle through the dead man's pockets, stealing everything of value I can find. Time to move. Fuck, it hurts so much. I almost black out trying to stand up. Using the wall as support, I start staggering away. Then Greg opens his eyes. The fat man hacks out a cough, causing me to turn. I watch in horror as he sits up, a confused expression on his face. What? Oh, it's you, he says, pointing in my direction. I turn and start to stagger away faster, pain screaming through my body. Crap, why did I do that? Of course, he catches me easily. His hand grabs my shoulder. This is it. I'm going to die for real now. Maybe I can take his soul back out again? I'm so sorry, he says, genuine concern in his voice. I can't believe I did that to you. Please, let me help. What? The sudden face turn to his personality hits me like whiplash. I can carry you somewhere. I'll pay for you to get healed. I'm so sorry. Miss, what's your name? Vita, I tell him, blinking in confusion. Miss Vita. Please, let me help you. A smile blossoms on his lips, an oddly vacant and disturbing expression. I'll do anything for you, he says. Oh no. I messed up his soul somehow and I messed it up bad. That isn't even all of it, either. Something else is off about him. Is it? You are, Baker Greg? Yes, Miss Vita? Could you, hold still for a moment? He nods, so happily willing despite the fact that he'd just recently tried to beat me to death. Of course, Miss Vita. I bring a shaky, bruised hand up to his neck, running it along the back of his jawbone. Nothing, no pulse. He stands motionlessly, letting me feel my hand around his nose and mouth. He isn't breathing, either. I'm not just an animancer. I'm a necromancer. The church is going to have my head. The dead have only one destination, and that is reuniting with the Mistwatcher. I'm screwed. But if I don't take him up on his offer to get healed, I'll probably die anyway. All right. Please help me, Greg. Just don't let the healer examine you, okay? Grinning, he sweeps me up into his arms, carrying me back towards the market. He smells alive, still. I wonder how long that will take to change, or if it will at all. Will he rot? What is he now? Arg, it's so hard to think, everything hurts. It takes a lot of effort to not pass out. I'm so sorry, Miss Vita, Greg says again. I didn't mean to. Well, I did mean to, but I didn't realize you. I was just so angry before. I didn't know you. I didn't know how important you are. But now, it's obvious. Yeah, obvious. What's obvious, exactly? I ask. Drip, drip, drip goes my blood on the stone below. A bone probably pierced something. It's obvious that I can't be mad with you. That I have to protect you. There is no one more important than you, Miss Vita. I've never felt anything like this before, but I know it to be true. With all my being, I exist for you. That's not creepy at all, I murmur. I'm so glad to hear it, Miss Vita. Greg, or whatever it was I made out of Greg, makes the rest of the trip to the healer's place in silence. He gladly pays the exorbitant fee with almost all of the money he has on him, most of which I awkwardly have to mention is in my pockets. It's more money than I've ever had in my life. I've never been magically healed before, and have no idea how it works. I know that the magic most commonly used to heal is called biomancy, and it's a spooky sort of magical school that tends to be heavily regulated. Thankfully, there's enough demand for healers that permits to practice are common to the point of encouraged, and the magic used to heal people is one of the most basic applications of the school there is. All I'm doing is speeding up what your body is trying to do on its own, the crotchety old healer woman informs me, though I'm a bit busy lying in agony to respond. We've still got to set your bones so they heal right, and then you're going to have to eat, or you'll starve to death when I cast the spell on you. From the looks of it, I'm about to feed you more than you've ever eaten in your life, young lady. Well, I'm not going to say no to that. The slop she gives me tastes like shit, but for the first time in a long time I'm actually full. A couple hours later, I'm on my feet again. Maybe things will be okay. Or so I think until the grinning face of the man who beat me in the first place greets me outside. Where to next, Miss Vita? I stagger out of the healer's building, my whole body's still hurting like hell. I stumble a bit, only to have Greg catch me. The man who almost beat me to death over some damn bread. What am I going to do with him? I don't know. Maybe he can just keep pretending to be alive and act normal? He looks pretty normal. Let's head back to your bakery, Greg. It was a simple statement, but I was also testing him. I can't help but wonder, does he remember his bakery? Is he still, Greg? Of course, Miss Vita. Right this way. So he does remember. Interesting. How about we head down some back ways? I suggest. I need to get a closer look at him. Figure out what I'm dealing with, how to survive it. Survival is the only thing I'm half decent at, after all. I've had 16 years of experience staying alive. Although I don't think I've ever killed anyone before. At least not on purpose. Which is what I just did, right? I was angry, I wanted to hurt him. So I murdered him. In self-defense, maybe. Either way, it's a little hard to have the whole deadness thing sink in while he's walking happily beside me. Actually, that's a good point. Does it matter if he's dead if he's still walking around with his own memories and everything? Well, I suppose I mind-screwed him into servitude. That is definitely not a good thing. Morally, I mean. For my immediate survival, it's fucking awesome. Staring up at him, I try to keep an eye out for anything weird that might tip someone off. You're starting to look a little pale, Greg, I note. You feeling okay? Yes, Mom. I feel fine. Although my feet feel a little puffy. Shoot, that makes sense. He'd been standing up this whole time, so blood must be pooling in his legs. Any chance you could get your heart to start beating again, Greg? He blinks, thinking for a moment. Huh? I suppose I'm dead now, aren't I? You killed me. Well, I'm sorry Miss Vita, but I don't have the faintest idea on how to control my own heart. All right. Well. Try to remember to breathe. We don't want anyone to realize you're like a zombie or whatever. A revenant, Mom. A zombie doesn't remember its past life, so I would be a revenant. My uncle fought with the Templars, so he smashed down undead more than a few times, Mom. Oh. Huh? And you're just okay with this? He grimaces uncertainly. Well, forgive me, Mom, but I'd certainly prefer to be alive. Although, I suppose if I was alive, I probably wouldn't have realized I am supposed to serve you. Which would have been bad, so, yes. I suppose I'm okay with this. It's starting to become really easy to see why animancy is illegal. This kind of stuff is possible? Imagine a power-hungry psychopath getting their hands on magic like this. It's kind of horrifying. So, you mentioned while you were beating the shit out of me that you have a son, is that right? Yes, Miss Vita. A wife and a son, though she's an unfaithful bitch and he's useless swamp slog, if you'll forgive my language. I blink. That's an odd way to describe one's own family. I suppose this guy almost beat me to death for stealing bread, so he's probably not a great person. Forgiven, I guess. Remember to keep breathing, please. We're going to need a plan to not, get imprisoned or killed, I think. If people find out you're a revenant, it will be bad. Don't worry, Miss Vita. I will protect you with my life. There's a pause. Well, with my death, I suppose. I'm not sure what to say to that, so I let him take me to his shop in silence. It smells like burnt bread. Greg grinds his teeth. Miss Vita. May I go discipline my son? Geez, what do I say to that? Well, I don't want to be suspicious. Just do what you'd normally do. Thank you, Miss Vita, he says, nodding. Boy. He bellows loud enough to make me wince, entering his shop with a face suddenly contorted to rage. Like a switch is flipped inside him, that hateful man who nearly killed me returns. Grig's shop is split into two parts, a stall on the street, and the actual bakery behind it. I suspect Grig and his family live in the same building they bake in. A woman who is probably Grig's wife runs the stall outside. She's busy with a customer, though she winces as Grig walks past her, screaming into the building. How much product did you burn, boy? He vanishes inside. I hurry closer, trying not to bring attention to myself. Though muffled by the walls, I hear a hard smack. No. No way. I knew he was awful, but I didn't realize he was that awful. It's one thing to discipline a child, it's entirely something else to discipline them so hard I can hear it through a stone wall. I wince as another muffled crack is heard from inside. It's not my business anyway. I can't run in there and tell him to stop now, that would be way too suspicious. It's not like he's going to kill his own son anyway, right? Crack. Screw this. Screw today. Screw everything. I turn to leave, heading back to the alleyways and trying not to cry. I didn't know he would do that. I didn't know. No. Focus. I need to start figuring things out. I can try to figure out how to be less awful once I figure out how to live. Maybe I can learn a bit more about what I am. I can sort of feel at souls, right? So maybe I can feel my own soul? I sit down out of sight and try to focus, trying not to think about the beating I just let happen. I touched my soul earlier when I plucked a little bit out of it. I try to focus and remember that feeling. What is my soul? What is? It's so small. Smaller than Griggs's. Weak and frail, just like me. It's so dark, a solid, despairing blackness manifested. Something flickers inside it, like tiny flashes of light behind cracks in a wall, but it's just so little. So pathetic. It makes sense. I am, after all, a weak person. But weaker than Grig? Uck. That rankles a little. Still, the part I'm missing, that tiny bit I took out to give him? It was even smaller, by a long shot. Maybe 1/100th of my soul, if that, although, who knows how much of my soul I could remove and still be me. It feels like my soul is working fine, at least. It's firmly attached to my body. I'm alive, and staying that way for now. Crack. Even hidden in an alley on the other side of the wall, I hear the blow. A chill runs through my body. I've seen so many worse things in my life than a man beating his son for burning bread. But this one? This one is partly my fault. I put the soul back in that bastard to bring him back. I unleashed him on his family. This is my business, like it or not. The least I can do is make sure he doesn't kill them. This is going to come back to bite me somehow, I just know it.